Hey there, Brittany Underwood here to talk about my latest thriller, One Night Stand Murder. So One Night Stand Murder is about a girl, Alyssa Morgan, who wakes up in a stranger's bed and doesn't remember how she got there, what happened that night. And as she's going to say goodbye to this stranger, she realizes he is dead. So right away, it starts off incredible inciting incident, and racing thoughts. How did this happen? Did I do that? Who, a million questions are racing through her head. And so she embarks on this journey to find out what happened that night, not only to prove her innocence, but to prove what happened. And obviously it's a hard thing to prove your innocence when you don't even remember how you got there, what happened. And I think there's a little part of her that wonders if she could have done something like that. She obviously knows she normally wouldn't, but what were the circumstances? Was he trying to hurt her and it was self-defense? She doesn't remember. So that's terrifying in and of itself. And she starts playing detective. And trying to put all the pieces together, and meets a detective along the way who, he's obviously trying to find out what happens as well. So is he going to be friend or foe? Is he going to believe her when she says, I didn't do this? So it's a really interesting journey, and I thought it made for a wild ride. What really attracted me to this story right off the bat was how quickly we just take off. The movie starts with her waking up in bed and finding out that he's dead. So right away, it's like, boom, okay, now what? And it's like, dun, 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 dun. It's just like this train that keeps on moving throughout the whole story, which was exciting. It wasn't necessarily like a slow burn and then we get to this dramatic moment. It really kind of takes you on this ride from the get, which was exciting to me. When I read it, I thought it played very well. And I love me a good, exciting journey. The mystery, the clues, the detective work, all of that was thrilling for me. So I loved going on this journey with Alyssa. So this movie isn't so much action-based as it is thriller-based. While I do think it is still very exciting throughout, I would say it has more moments of suspense and tension than being like action, action, action. But I love that. I love building tension. That's one of my favorite things to do as a director. Trying to make the audience feel that edge of your seat feeling of like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Oh my gosh, is there someone in the house? And what are they gonna do? I love all of those moments of suspense. And there are a few of those. There are a few moments where, people are in danger, and building those moments is really fun. What do I hope audiences take away from this movie? I really hope they enjoy the ride. I hope they root for our girl, Alyssa, to figure out what happened, and prove her innocence. I think our characters are really interesting and fun to watch. And I'm really hoping that it's just as exciting for them as it was for us to make it. We had a really good time. I will say that there were so many people on this movie that I had worked with before. And so as a director or any filmmaker, it's always fun to work with friends and people that you've worked with before, because you get into this rhythm and it makes set so enjoyable. From a creative standpoint, working with people who share not only your passion for it, but when you have similar working styles or you've worked together before so you understand how the other person works and you don't have to kind of smooth out the kinks of getting to know that person's work process. So, you know, my AD I had worked with on so many movies before, and we're about to work together again. My cinematographer, we had done several movies together already. So those are two really important positions to have a good workflow with. And some of the actors, some of the crew, the producers I had worked with before. So yeah, this one was a really, really fun one to make. And I had a really great time. So I loved Alyssa's journey. I thought it was a great arc for her. She goes on this journey, obviously, to prove her innocence, but along the way, who she encounters or enlists the help of is interesting. She she asked for the help of an old flame, and so that was one of my favorite parts of the movie, actually, because I really wanted to show how much this character, Roger, cared for her. And it was really sweet. I thought there was some really nice, sweet moments. I wanted there to be that chemistry there. And she has an ally and somebody that she can trust when these characters are going on this journey where it's like constantly, you know, scrapping and scrambling for a foothold, to have a moment where she can kind of have a safety net or a safe house and take a breath allows the audience to breathe as well. Like, okay, we're safe now for a second, you know, we can breathe as the character breathes. So that's important, so that we're not always constantly in this full-on adrenaline pumping state. But yeah, there was some really sweet moments in there. And then, of course, because it's a thriller, she can't stay safe for too long. So obviously things happen. And we do actually have a really fun action sequence in there where things get a little scary and terrifying. And she is no longer safe and has to, therefore, go on to the next step and move on from this safe house. So it's really great that it feels like it's nonstop, except for little moments of being able to breathe. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to give away too much of what her journey ends up being, but yeah, just a fun, wild ride. I actually have a few favorite moments and scenes that we shot. I love me some oneers. I love really being intentional with camera movement. What I loved about our Steadicam shots, our floating shots, you know, I start the movie off like that, where we're with her. We stay with Alyssa as she goes to the bathroom to kind of just like regroup, and then comes back in and then discovers that he's dead. And then it's like, oh my gosh. And then we're tracking her through the house as she comes down the stairs, and then as she goes outside. And I did this really cool wraparound shot, which was really fun to shoot because it was this whole song and dance. And as she's moving through the house, we had to shut the door behind her and pull the blinds down on this door that our cinematographer was going through as our actress was going through another door. And once she clears her door and our cameraman cleared his door, we shut it behind him so we can get this wraparound shot and not see our tracks that we had just been floating through that house. So it required like all hands on deck. My AD was really good about, you know, shutting it behind it, and everything had to be timed perfectly. But the payoff for that was that we got to stay with her. And as we're wrapping around her in this circular motion, in this whirlwind motion, we're mirroring her emotional state, which is a whirlwind of emotions, of thoughts. She's reeling from this moment, and I was really trying to capture that with our movement as well. And then we had another cool oneer in the same house. I loved this house that we got because it was this mansion that had all of these big open, you know, the floor to ceiling windows that open up so you could go in and out of the house freely. It was really cool to shoot in. So when the detectives show up at the crime scene, we start on a view of the mountains and we pull back to reveal our detective is looking out into the mountains pensively, and then his detective partner walks up to him, and then we take them through the house, and then they're talking about the evidence as they go and trying to figure out what happened through the night, and we stay with them because I like staying with characters and in the moments and their journeys. I want to go on that journey with them as much as we can as an audience. So that was another cool oneer. I'm really happy with how that shot worked out because everybody was on it. I had a really good team to pull that off. Actors, crew, everybody. And yeah, that was really awesome. We something that inspired that was my AD had some really great ideas that I really liked, but also I had been watching Fatal Attraction. And, you know, the detectives going through the house at the top of the scene, or top of the movie, was really interesting to me. I really liked that shot. So we kind of tried to incorporate that into our movie. And I hope we pulled something off that was pretty cool. So right now I am working on another Lifetime thriller. And again, I get to work with people that I know and love, and so I'm really excited about it. Yeah, the story is pretty great. I'm not sure what I'm able to say about it just yet, but I love shooting thrillers. They're my jam. I really, I'm a Fincher girl. Fincher movies are always really awesome for me. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, which is really hard on these schedules because there's no time to be a perfectionist. And so sometimes I just have to go like, okay, good, that's fine. But whenever I do have the time, I like to be meticulous, not as to the degree of Fincher, but I know he probably drives a lot of people crazy with his meticulousness. But for me, I appreciate it. There's something so calming about settling into a shot like right now. Like if the character were to land like right in the middle of these two poles, that would just bring me so much joy. So I have a lot of OCD little quirks like that that I'm sure drive some people crazy. But for me, it just soothes me for some reason. But yeah, I'm really excited to work on that one and can't wait to tell you guys about that when we finish that one. Thank you for watching this interview, and I hope you guys enjoy One Night Stand Murder.